My friend took this picture on the day I told my husband about getting tired of our boring life. We argued so much that we've been separated since then. Whatever I did, our picnics always ended with my mother in a grumpy mood. That's why I usually made plans with my father instead. Everyone at high school was so jealous when they saw this photo. You had to have been very lucky to get to see the famous elephant. Going together with the most popular girl in school didn't help either. My eyelids are getting heavy. I hope he lets me sleep tonight. I miss sleeping. Do you see that white thing to the right of the open pit? That thing that looks like a dinosaur fossil. When I was a kid, my dad used to bring me here for some fresh air. The first time we were here, he showed me the white patch of sand and said it used to be a baby dinosaur running from the humans. But it must have been dark, so the baby dinosaur falls into the pit and starves to death. The story made me more scared of the humans on the other side of the pit than of dinosaurs. Maybe that was my dad's intent. He used to say that in those mills and houses on the other side of the pit live humans who turn into animals at night and come and steal things from us. I wish it were those stories that I couldn't remember. Although people on the other side of the pit had left years ago, I never found out who actually lived there. I wish you were here, Dad. We could go to the other side and have a closer look.
Hey, looks like you're falling asleep. Open your eyes. This is only the 17th day of no sleeping.
Could you turn your face away? Those terrifying red eyes. Why don't you leave me alone? How long are you going to torture me?
I want to leave you alone, but I can't. Since long ago, when I was a young captain, I couldn't be awake while sailors were asleep. Come on, get up, get out of bed. Don't you have a few days off from work? Go play a little at least.
My warm, comfy bed. I wish I could sleep on you with peace of mind. Good thing I have a photo of most of my friends. Otherwise, I would forget their faces thanks to my memory problems. These days, they call it sticky notes. I prefer to call them memoranda. When I was a kid, every time I wanted to go to a classmate's birthday, I would bring one of these. They say the quality of old vinyl are still better than these new stuff. The last time I tried to open the door, I couldn't remember what code I had chosen. I don't feel like thinking about this right now. Maybe sometime later. Hi, Miso. Nice to see you calm and not making noise. Don't worry. Erica will return in a few days and we'll take you back home. Sorry I couldn't spend enough time with you. I know a laptop doesn't fit well in this game, so I'm not going to waste my time. I feel safer with the map. My dad bought me this plant when I was born. It's grown more than I have. Come to me, my dear kidney stone. Why did Jack close up this place for good? What's even more odd is that none of us ever tried to find out why. I remember the last movie shown here was The Wood Elves Battle. When I was a child, this Mr. Juggalo was my favorite actor in fantasy movies. What's under the rug? I'm surprised the elephant even thought of signing his photograph. What a photograph! So this fellow Jack was friends with the elephant in the cirque. It's nice to have a drink every once in a while. Hey! What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to stay in the inventory? Stay still!
Hello? Please don't hang up. Could you tell me where you disappeared to? What? None of my business. What do you mean you'll come back in a while? You didn't think I'd find you, huh? Well, I found your phone number on one of your spaghetti boxes. You'd written it down on the corner and thrown it in the trash. Ever since the elephant vanished, so did you. Are you in some sort of trouble? What? You don't know what I'm talking about? Frankly, I don't trust you anymore. Who trusts a man who prefers his tasteless spaghetti to my pancakes? Don't hang up. Hold on. Hello? Hello? Damn it.
Hi, little girl. What's your name? I don't think I've ever seen you around here. Even if I knew the lady behind this door, I wouldn't approach her when she is so angry. He must have a hidden clue somewhere in the building. I think he put up a poster somewhere. I should probably find some sort of numbers on the poster. If you're new, you may try and read this to get the news. Little would you know, this newspaper has been here for weeks. Jack is always proud that his son, Arash, followed a path that he was not able to follow. He went to a different continent a few years ago and is working on his second movie now. I totally remember the day Jack put up this poster. I even bought the text myself. Everything in this flat smells old. This clock is always behind, and the calendar on the table is from 6 years ago. Hey, Jack. Oh, I'm sure he's going to make a remark about my name.
Welcome back. Any news from your name? Or is it still playing hide and seek?
What did I just tell you? Looks like it's now right where it belongs. But I have to remind you, it is a secret. I don't want the neighbors to hear about it.
Sure. No secret leaves this house. Especially one about the quietest resident we've ever had here.
Well, I guess that's true. For the last 6 months, I'm the only person who's entered my flat. If my name is scared of dogs like I am, it wouldn't have escaped that way. Hi, Marta. Are you still looking for your cat?
I can't take this anymore. How can a cat go straight up a tree and never come down?
He must have come down when you weren't looking.
No way. I waited under that tree for hours. I was dizzy for days. I looked up at it so long.
A cat can disappear in a blink of an eye, especially male cats who forget their owners this time of year. But he'll be back.
My cat wasn't like that. He'd never go more than 100 yards from here. Also, how would he get out with that dog guarding the end of the alley?
I walk these streets a lot. If I see him, I'll bring him back.
That would be so kind of you. I hope you find your name soon, too. I have heard a lot about your ordeal.
Yeah, thanks. No one was supposed to know about my problem. I know who's been talking. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you something. I just remembered as I saw the closed doors of the movie theater.
What is it? I hope you're not adding something new to my responsibilities.
Why did you stop the weekly film screenings there?
Because we couldn't get the money to buy a new player. Also, the neighbors aren't very sociable. It's hard to get them all together at the same time.
I remember you had a collection of the best 35mm films. Let's set it up again. I love old technology.
A friend of mine borrowed them and never gave them back. It ruined our friendship.
Why don't you go to his house and ask for your films?
I'm over it now. No time for old films. But if you want them so much, why don't you go yourself? Take this road straight up until you get to the square. His house is one of the first houses. It's got a blue door and there's a large sign hanging on its wall.
Oh, you again. Well, at least you've hidden those bloody eyes of yours behind shades.
Don't worry. I know everything. I know you can't sleep anymore since you saw me that night underneath your bed. And you can't tell anyone. Someone who doesn't remember her own name and sees an invisible old man will end up in the madhouse.
You've trapped me. How can I get rid of this insomnia?
Your sleep is tied to mine. As long as I'm awake, you're awake. But worry not, a sailor who stared into the horizon so long that her eyes have turned into the color of the sunset can endure much more than this.
I prefer to keep it for myself. If it wasn't for this elephant that vanished one night from the zoo without a trace, maybe our town's name would have never gotten into the newspapers. After breaking into the house, I'd better not touch anything before meeting the owner. Hi, hope I'm not intruding. The door was open. I was wondering if...
Of course, come in, my dear. But of course you're not intruding. After all, we know each other.
We do? Oh yes, you own the restaurant on 20th Street.
Yes, that's right. I lived a very different life back then. Did you know that I employed over 30 people in that restaurant? And I only ever met 2 of them? The young man I made manager, and...
Me? Wow. Yeah, I remember. Actually, I remember the day I met Yuel. It was my 20th birthday. So it was 5 years, 4 months, and 2 days ago.
25. Wonderful. I remember you didn't want to get any smarter.
You still have a good memory. Intelligence was the only thing I was sure of in myself back then.
I knew you were very smart from the first moment I saw you at the door holding a tray. I'd like to test you. May I?
Sure. I'm curious how I'd score. It's been a while since I had to be smart.
When I retired, I picked up this hobby of connecting things together and making strange stuff. See this noisy TV? With a secret code, you can connect it to the global TV network of 100 years ago.
Are you kidding? There was no TV 100 years ago.
Don't doubt an old man who's got a death ticket in his hand. TV or not, the waves are still floating in the air.
Maybe you're right. Let me have a closer look at your inventions. They must have been a rich family to have their portraits painted. Snow in a war zone. What else could go wrong? I love the feel of this painting. It might come in handy someday. Any sharp object could be useful someday. There's nothing scarier in this world than a bald and blind doll. The evidence shows the resident of this place has tried anything and everything to become an artist. Order is the only thing you can't see in how this place is organized. These paintings on the ceiling show this place used to be glamorous. I don't know how it's ended up like this. The china reminds me of my grandmother's house. Glad to see these things still exist in the world. I wish there was a black monster puppet too. I should probably match these in a certain way. Didn't I see something like this around the house? I should take a look at those paintings in the corridor again.